Okay. So I had to switch my browser. I wanted to go live for a little while, guys, because I've been getting a lot of the same questions from people and a lot of the same requests for videos. And I haven't put out a Mental Health Monday video in a long time, and I know that, and I'm really sorry about that. And the reason I haven't put out a Mental Health Monday in a long time is because I've just been really overwhelmed with the pregnancy and with, for the majority of the pregnancy, I was working at the same time as well. And so it was not just like working in town. And, I have a 2-year-old. So I was commuting to Georgia every week because that's where I was working. And the reason I was working there was because my childcare, my family lives there. And so that's why I was able to actually work long days. My work was usually like somewhere between 10 and 12-hour days. And so my mom and dad would keep my daughter for me while I was working. And that allowed us to save some money for daycare. Also, I have elderly grandparents that live in the area. In that area where I was working, they live right beside my parents. And so I was able to, have a good excuse to see them every week. And so I'm out on maternity leave now, but it's just been a crazy, crazy busy year. I don't have to tell anyone how 2020 has been. It has been an exceptional year. It's been very challenging. And so to have been pregnant and to have started a new job, even though I have worked at that place before, wow. Amidst everything else that was going on and the 2-hour commute, I wasn't making the 2-hour commute every day. I would actually stay with my parents whenever I made the commute. So that made it easier, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't mind the commute at all, but it's just been crazy. And so since I've gone on maternity leave, I've had a little bit of extra time to put up videos. A lot of you know that I left for a while and put up no videos for several months because I just couldn't swing all of those things. In addition, when the COVID crisis hit, my clientele and my caseload actually increased by like threefold. I was seeing 2 to 3 times the amount of people that I was seeing before in the same amount of days, essentially. And then because we were doing, hello, Roopster. How are you? You guys should check out Roopster760 if you are not already familiar with his channel. I am probably the worst pool player in the world. But this guy is amazing. Roopster760 posts all these videos about these pool tournaments that he's in, and he has the funnest group of friends. And you guys are just so awesome in your videos. I love watching your videos. I have so much fun. And I've watched so many of them now that I have forgotten how bad I actually am at playing pool. So every time I see someone go to make a shot, I'm like, oh, that's not lined up correctly. And I have you to thank for that, Rooster. I have this really delusional sense of how good of a pool player I am now because of you. But guys, definitely check out Roopster760. He's so kind. Thanks so much for stopping in. I forget where I was in my little spiel, but oh yeah, when the COVID crisis hit, not only was I seeing more people because more people were at home and they were able to use telehealth, but my documentation also increased. And so I was seeing more people and I was having to document a lot more, and it was too much. I was extremely overwhelmed. So I went on maternity leave about a month ago, and I've had more time. And I've been trying not to neglect you guys anymore. And I think the best way to actually do mental health chats is actually via live for the time being, because getting the topics together and everything like that and editing the videos, it's really hard for me when I have a thematic video, because I like for it to be really polished, especially with something as important as mental health. With my vlogs, I don't necessarily care. I don't pretend to be perfect. I don't with my mental health as a mental health clinician either, but I really like for those to be really polished and presentable, because I think the things that I like to talk about are just so important, and I don't want to waste people's time. So I'm at work at the moment. I need to stop by and say hello. I'm so glad you did, Roopster. I'm so glad you did. I understand being at work. I didn't get to warn anyone that I was going to be on. I don't know if it's really going to be a good time for anyone to stop by and say hello, but I did want to check in with you guys, really just see how everyone is doing. And having a live is a really good opportunity to kind of just check in with you guys and see what mental health topics you'd really like for me to cover, because I think I will have a little bit of time to do that coming up here soon after I have the baby. My mom's going to be helping me out with Tenny a little bit. So having a newborn is not easy, but I think I will have a little bit of time to cover some more mental health stuff. And so I really just wanted to do a check-in with you guys, just a general check-in to see what topics you might like for me to cover. And you can even use the comments below this video if you are not able to catch the live stream. You can even use the comment section to let me know what you guys would like to see. So yeah, thanks Roopster again for stopping in. That was so sweet. I wish I had been able to let you guys know that I was going to do this beforehand. I didn't get to, so I apologize for that. Oh, hi Anthony. Malone Money Mindset, another great channel. Hey Jessica, wanted to come and say what's up. What's up, Anthony? You guys check out Malone Money Mindset as well, please. So this guy, you're 25, right, Anthony? Are you 25? He is so educated and informed with the stock market. I always say to him in his comments that I feel so smart after I watch his videos, and I do. And I love it. Yeah, you're 25. Oh my gosh. This guy has like the wisdom of a 90-year-old in a 25-year-old's body. He's just so amazing and so well informed when it comes to stocks and anything financial, to be honest with you. He makes the stock market sound exciting, which is really impressive. In my opinion, I actually get excited about like picking stocks and looking at the Dow and everything thanks to this guy. And my husband, I told you, Anthony, is very impressed because I can actually hold an intelligent conversation with him when it comes to stocks and what's trading and what's doing well and dividends and all this stuff. Always love your comments, and I'm so glad I can help. You are super helpful. You know, what I love about your channel, Anthony, is that I think, you know, a lot of people are probably looking into investing right now just because of everything that's going on. A lot of people are really wanting to secure their financial future because of the uncertainty that coronavirus has brought about. And, you know, just I think seeing how quickly from a financial standpoint things can turn around, I think it has scared a lot of people. And so I can imagine that a lot of people would be very interested in your content right now, because you don't just go through picks and you don't just go through them in the sense of, I like this stock. You really give an informed and educated approach to why you're picking the stock, some potential drawbacks for the stock, and why you think it's a sound investment. And so if there are any beginners into the stock market, anyone that's really wanting to just become more informed on the subject, Malone Money Mindset is a really good channel to do that. Like, very high quality content. I love your stuff so much. I am so humbled that you stopped by. Thank you so much for stopping by. I've really learned so much from your channel. And like I said, my husband is super impressed. And he's not impressed easily. So very good job on that. How is your sister, by the way? His sister is, like myself, also a mental health counselor. And so sometimes Anthony will post videos with his sister, and she's giving just some excellent feedback as far as mental health is concerned. I always love hearing her perspectives. I would say, so I take a humanistic perspective, a really holistic humanistic perspective when it comes to mental health. And I also draw a lot of my content, excuse me, I have placenta brain. I draw a lot of my content from a neurological perspective because I did a neuropsychological emphasis in graduate school. And I think your sister, Anthony, really draws from like a mindfulness perspective. She seems to really focus on mindfulness and sort of Eastern principles when tackling mental health. I'm not trying to speak for her. I'm trying to promote her. I don't think I'm doing a very good job, though. I'm sorry. My focus right now, placenta brain is a true thing, you guys. And my due date was yesterday, which is really unfair because I'm still pregnant. I'm still very pregnant. And it's like 1,000,000 degrees outside in Florida. So there's that. She's doing good. She's been making at her daycare with the kids, so she's enjoying that, probably applying for grad school next year. She's been making at her daycare with the kids, so she's enjoying that. Do you have 2 sisters? I didn't realize that your sister that was the therapist had kids. Because I remember she did a vision board, and I think a family was part of her vision board, if I remember correctly. But maybe it was a goal that she had for her family or something like that. Maybe I'm not remembering that correctly at all. But I was thinking that the one that was a therapist or that does the mental health videos on your channel, I was thinking that she did not have kids. But no, that's really cool. Your stocks that you've been talking about lately, so there was the one, what was it? The one for the electric vehicles for delivery services, and then the DocuSign. Those are so interesting. I can imagine that both of those are going to do really, really well. She works at a daycare but has no kids, and she's applying for grad school next year. Oh, okay. Gotcha. No, that's perfectly fine. I was wondering if it was my eyes because I have been having some vision challenges with this pregnancy. Pregnancy like just throws a wrench into everything. Gives you insomnia. It gives you visual changes when my vision already sucks. It throws off your appetite. I really don't recommend it at all, even though this is my second time around. Yeah, your sister's so sweet. I would love to see some more videos from her too. That's awesome. I can't believe she doesn't have a channel because she's really, really good with mental health. She must have done her undergraduate in clinical psych or social work or something like that. I bet she's a big fan of Brene Brown too. But back to your stocks, Anthony. Yeah, the 2 recent videos that you've been doing, again, everyone, I'm talking to Malone Money Mindset. Please check out his channel. He's amazing if you're looking to getting into any sort of investment in the stock market. He has a really good channel for, I would say for beginners, because I'm definitely a beginner in that area, but the stuff he talks about is really in depth and intricate. And so I would imagine that any level of expertise in the stock market, anyone who's at pretty much any level would really appreciate his content. Yeah, I know she wants to do a channel. I keep trying to get her to do it. It's a lot of work. I don't necessarily blame her for not wanting to commit because YouTube is a serious time suck. I know, Anthony, you said, at you work at an accounting firm, correct? And so you work full time at an accounting firm, and then you do like, I think 3 posts a week, typically 2 to 3 posts a week. You do some lives as well. And YouTube is a serious time suck. I think it's worth it because the community that you get from doing YouTube is so nice. You get to meet such amazing people. And, if you have something to say, like, I feel like mental health content is really important to share. And I don't see a lot of videos on the particular things that I make mental health videos about. So I felt that it was really important to put those videos out there. And if that's the case with you, if you're really passionate about a subject and you feel that it's important to educate other people and at least give them, the tools that you have, at least share those tools with other people, then YouTube is a great way to do that. But it's a big time commitment, really big time commitment. So, and I know now, like before I had kids, like having kids was part of the reason I started a YouTube channel, which is the case with a lot of moms. Starting a YouTube channel really gives us a lot of support, especially when you stay home with your child. You just sort of lose that sense of community for the first couple of years. I know I did. And so it's really easy to find other moms on YouTube who are also making like stay-at-home mom vlogs and things of that nature. So it's a great way to connect, but serious time commitment, folks. Even the crappy videos take a long time to film and post and all that stuff, like much less the videos that are really polished. Like, that's why I don't really understand people who will just give a thumbs down so easily to a video. I'm like, do you have any idea how much time it took to make that video? Not just to make it, but to post it, to put in the description for it, to make the thumbnail, to put in all the tags for the video. Like, it takes so much effort, and then someone can just so easily like thumbs down your video. It's really disappointing sometimes. It at least was in the beginning. I can remember when I got like the first negative comment on any one of my videos, and I just remember it was like someone had stabbed me in the chest. And because the first negative comment I got on any one of my videos was actually my birth video for my first daughter, obviously, because I, again, have not given birth yet. But yeah, someone thumbs down my birth video for Tenny, and I couldn't believe it. And they left a negative comment about how I needed to delay cutting the cord, which is absolutely true. The cord is full of really good nutrients for your baby. So now a lot of hospitals and a lot of practices, and you can actually opt for this option whether your hospital or practice does it or not, but it's called delayed cord clamping, where as long as the cord is pulsating, you don't clamp it. You just allow all the blood to finish draining into the baby, because it's like a year's worth of nutrients or something like that that's in the umbilical cord. And then once the cord is totally drained, then you clamp it and cut it. And, it takes different amounts of times, but it's very obvious when the cord has drained. It goes from literally pulsating and being inflated to just being flat. It looks like a balloon that has been deflated. And so anyway, yeah, one of literally like the first comment I got on my video, my birth video with Tenny is that I shouldn't have cut the cord until it stopped pulsating. And I guess the reason the person said that was because in the video, it looks like we cut the cord immediately after she was born, but it was actually like 15 to 20 minutes after she was born. But I remember, like, you know, I had her naturally and I was in labor for 3 days. And so it was just such a long process. It was a hard process to give birth to her. And then I was so excited to share the video because I love watching natural childbirth videos on YouTube. And I found it really helpful when I was getting ready to give birth to my daughter. And, you know, I was wanting to share this because I thought it would be super helpful and inspiring for other people who are about to have a baby. And then the first comment I get is, "Oh, you shouldn't cut the cord until it stops pulsating." And it was just like, and it was a thumbs down on the video, and I was so disappointed. Now nothing like that even affects me. Obviously, you know, you have some keyboard warriors that just live to, I think, put other people down because they're hurting, obviously. But now something like that wouldn't even affect me because my skin has gotten thicker. But at the time, it was just like such a letdown. Philip, what is up? How are you? Guys, this is my friend Philip. Oh, I haven't been able to see you in such a long time. I'm so glad that you caught me. So glad I caught you. I only can catch you typically whenever I'm coming into Jackson or whenever you're coming to Jacksonville or the St. Augustine area because I never make it out your way anymore, unfortunately. How's everybody? How's the mom? How are you doing? This year's been a rough year, but I know your mom posted a photo of you and her and your sister the other day, and it was such a beautiful photo. I loved seeing it. You have the sweetest family. But yeah, being on YouTube can be hard. So, I mean, that long spiel, Anthony, was basically to say that I don't necessarily blame your sister for having reservations about starting a channel. What has been your experience with starting a channel? I don't know, Anthony, if you're still here, or Roopster. I know Roopster, you said you couldn't really stay very long, but what's been your guys' experiences with, you know, starting a channel? Mine have been mostly positive. I mean, out of thousands of comments, I've had maybe just a couple negative ones. It's been well worth it to me. I don't know. What's your feedback on that, would you say? Philip Michael, it has been a while. I'll be in Jacksonville on August 6th. Oh, you'll be in Jacksonville on August 6th. Well, we're going to have to plan to get together if you have time for that. If you can pencil me in, I'll have a newborn by then. And by the way, Anthony, where do you live? I've been curious about that. I would like to see what COVID is doing in your neck of the woods. I know in Florida, the numbers are just absolutely crazy right now. I have taken a bit of an avoidance approach to this because the numbers have been skyrocketing so much that it's pretty disappointing. So I haven't looked in the past couple days, but I know last I looked, there were just tens of thousands of cases being reported every day, and it's really discouraging. Anthony, I've loved it. I've had the chance to get to know some awesome people such as yourself. Well, thank you. I learned a lot from the whole experience too. Yeah. I don't know were you aware of the time commitment up front? Because I was not. I think that I would not have been someone that was thumbsing down videos or trying to tear anyone down, but certainly I did not know the time commitment that YouTube took before I actually had a channel. Oh my gosh, and I did not give, I think, the full appreciation to videos that they deserve. So you're in New York. You work in New York City, but you've been working home since March. Wow. Yeah, that was when I started. I actually started working from home a little bit before everyone else, at the community center. So I work at a community mental health center in Georgia. And because I was pregnant, I was considered in the high risk category from the get go. And in addition to that, I have a lot of contact with my elderly grandparents. They're in their 80s. And also my husband has a heart issue that puts him in a high risk category. He's actually very, very healthy. He rarely sees any effects whatsoever of the heart issue. It's AFib, but that puts him in a high risk category as well. And so as soon as the numbers started increasing and as soon as people in Georgia started testing positive with it, I was really ready to work from home. And then after a couple of months, I was over it. I mean, I missed seeing people so much. Even though I would normally see them on a telehealth platform called Doxy, so I could talk to people just like this, but that would, present its own set of challenges because technology doesn't always work for everyone, and there are lots of hindrances that come along with technology. There's lag time. In a lot of cases, if I had a 45-minute session scheduled with someone, we were lucky if we got 20 or 25 good minutes out of it because, there are just a lot of obstacles that come along with telehealth and doing anything from a technological standpoint. I'm glad that we had that option, but there are some definite barriers. Thank you, Jessica. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to pencil you in. Well, thank you, Philip. I feel very important. How have you been, Philip? Health-wise, how's everything going? I won't go into detail because I don't want to share your business, but everybody healthy? Everybody good? That's something that I'm kind of asking everyone nowadays, actually. But I'm so glad you're here because then I can check in on you. But yeah, I don't know, with Anthony, you talking about you've been working at home from March. I have too. I'm really glad that we have this platform, or the opportunity to do telehealth or to continue working. I know so many people didn't get a paycheck, and my workload, if anything, I was talking about earlier, and I've talked about several times, my workload like tripled. And so there was absolutely zero chance of me not bringing home a paycheck. I was in pretty high demand, and mental health counselors and therapists in general, we were just in pretty high demand. Also, I see a lot of clients who are high acuity or suicidal. And so and my colleagues do as well. So for any of us to have been sent packing, it would have been potentially really dangerous for our clients. I felt this overwhelming sense of gratitude to have a job. But it was very stressful. And I find it very stressful to work from home. I really like the routine of getting up and going to the office. And then there were some other challenges as well, because in a lot of cases, Tenny would be able to hear me. Now, because I have to work from a HIPAA approved platform and I have to preserve the privacy of all my clients, I had a noise machine running outside the door to the room that I was using. And so no one could hear the actual conversation that we were having, but sometimes Tenny would, like see me walk into the room, even though I'd try to sneak, and she would just hear a little, she would hear my voice. No one could actually distinguish what I was saying, but every now and then she'd hear my voice, like especially if I laughed or something, because I laugh a lot with my clients. And so then I would have this 2-year-old like crying and banging on the door and not understanding why mommy is ignoring her and not letting her in the room. So that was really challenging, especially in the beginning. My mom and I figured out how to navigate it, you know, from that point on. But even the fact of, like I said, I work technically 11-hour days because I would have an hour-long lunch, but I was working 10-hour days. And so some of those days I would see clients for up to 8.5 hours. And then the all that time in between, that additional like hour and a half or whatever it may be, was for documentation. Documentation always took longer than that, but sometimes I would even have like 9 direct hours with a client. And being in the same room and talking to people on the phone and just not having that, up and down that I would normally get from taking a client back to the waiting room, getting them checked out, getting a new client checked in, bringing them back up to my office, just being able to see colleagues in between seeing clients. It was really, really hard. Um, yeah, I don't think overall that telehealth is for me. I think it's a great option, and so many people now can see therapists because of telehealth. It really opens up, this big channel for people who I think wouldn't see a therapist or a doctor even otherwise. But I think there are some people who really love it and can appreciate it. And I just don't think I'm in that category of people. I really like seeing my clients face to face, being able to see their body language. There's just so much value to being in the same room with a person. And so it's been hard working from home. How do you feel working from home? Because I know New York is, I mean, are your guys' numbers in New York doing a little bit better now? Like I said, I'm ashamed to say this now, Anthony, but I've sort of stopped looking at numbers the past couple days because I was getting so anxious. Honestly, I saw the numbers just continue to rise and rise and rise, and I remember this time when they wouldn't let husbands into the delivery room with the wives at the beginning of the pandemic. And I just kept thinking, if these numbers continue to rise and if the cases continue to get worse and if there continue to be more hospitalizations, there's this potential where my husband will not be able to be in the delivery room for me and my daughter. There's also the fear of me contracting the virus and then being quarantined from my newborn. All these thoughts are just devastating to me. So I want to be informed and I want to keep up with the numbers, but it's also very anxiety provoking, and it's causing me to think about things that might not be an issue at all. So I gave the numbers a rest for a little while. I compartmentalized that part of what's going on for the time being, and I'm trying to just stay away from people. Because I'm going to have my daughter any day now, and I just want my husband to be able to be there, and I want to not be quarantined from my daughter, and yeah, that's where I am. Anthony, yeah, it's been tough working from home. I like the face-to-face interaction as well. It's all instant messaging and phone calls, which can be tough at times. It's overstimulating, isn't it? It's just like, if you saw, I imagine you saw Wolf of Wall Street, but Matthew McConaughey's character talks about how they deal with numbers all day and phone calls and messages and lots of high frequency stuff. And that's exactly how I've come to think of it, is like instant messages, notifications, phone calls. It's just a lot of high frequency, overstimulating things. Honestly, things that decrease or diminish negative ions. And negative ions have a positive effect on our mental and physical health. So things that increase things that increase negative ions are like the sound of the ocean, the wind in the trees, and things that diminish negative ions are actually like the sound of cars honking, notifications from your phone, air conditioning actually decreases negative or diminishes negative ions. And so that's why walks in nature are so important. I know you said, yeah, overall Long Island has been doing better. I typically hang out with a few friends and we'll hang out at each other's house and occasionally go to the beach. Yeah. So going to the beach is a great way to get out of that high frequency, positive ionic atmosphere. Need to get as much of those negative ions in your system as possible. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. I'm so glad to hear that. I had heard that your area had been doing better. I don't really know what's going to come out of all of what's going on. I guess things are going to continue to be kind of touch and go until a reliable vaccine makes it out there. We'll just have to see, I guess. Happy Lux. Hello, Happy Lux. How are you? Oh, those are the cutest emojis. Is that a cat in a box? It is a cat in a box. How are you doing? Everything good? Are you staying safe and healthy? I hope you are. Same with you. Wish nothing but the best for you, the family, and the pregnancy. Thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate it. It's touch and go. There are sometimes, obviously, I'm over being pregnant, and I would really like to spit this baby out like now. But at the same time, which I don't have a choice. She's coming at some point within the next 2 weeks. But at the same time, it's just like things are so chaotic right now. I think I really took for granted when there was not a pandemic going on, I don't know that I could ever really take the absence of a pandemic for granted again. It's given me a really grateful perspective. Philip, Gym helps me release negative ions. What are your thoughts? Yeah, so I probably wasn't clear on this, Philip. So the thing that you kind of want to stay away from are positive ions. Positive ions have a negative effect on your physical and mental health, and negative ions have a positive effect on your mental and physical health. And so sources of positive ions are like really high frequency noises and things that we were talking about, like car horns or air conditioning, a lot of man-made stuff. A lot of those noises emit. Sorry, just a second. Someone's at my door. Give me just a second. I'm going to pause, okay? I'll be right back. Oh, so sorry, guys. That was actually our fence company of all times to pop up. Sorry, it took a few minutes. The fence company where they actually showed up a month early. We weren't supposed to be getting it until next month. At least that's what they told us. But it looks like they're starting our fence today. So that's amazing. But I had to take them around our property and show them where it ends and all that stuff. So anyway, that's what I was doing. Sorry, it's terrible timing, but I'm really happy to be getting a fence. But yeah, what I was saying about the negative and positive ions, Philip, is that like things like the ocean, those emit negative ions, which have a positive effect on your mental health. And I believe what you're talking about with the gym is that it's a natural stress reliever and antidepressant. And so actually when you work out, you stimulate the release of serotonin in your brain. Serotonin is a natural antidepressant. You can get serotonin from being in the sunshine, from being around positive people. So positive social interactions are actually a serotonin stimulator. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter in your brain that it's actually used in mainstream antidepressants, and it, in a lot of cases, really successfully treats depression. So if you've ever heard of an antidepressant listed as an SSRI, that means selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And so basically what that means is that while serotonin is floating around in the synapse of your brain, that's when you feel the effects of it. And the process of reuptake is actually when the serotonin binds to a receptor site. So when you think reuptake, think I no longer feel the effects of this chemical, which in this case are really calming, really happy effects. And so selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor means that an antidepressant would actually block off the receptor site so that the serotonin that's in your synapse would not be able to bind to a receptor site, and you would feel the effects of it for longer. So the gym, since it releases serotonin, is a natural antidepressant. Absolutely. Exercise is a natural antidepressant. And in most cases, serotonin actually helps with anxiety as well. That's why you'll see a lot of SSRIs. The same ones that are used to treat depression are in a lot of cases also used to treat anxiety, especially like long-term anxiety. You don't see it for treatment as much for acute anxiety or cases of like panic attacks and things like that. This is more so for like long-term treatment of depression and anxiety. Greta, hello there. Do you think there's a relationship between the gender of the baby and sex position or times of sex? I am good at making girls. Okay, it said that my connection was unstable. That I could not say, Greta. I am good at making girls, so I'm 2 for 2 on girls so far. I know that the sperm is actually what determines the gender. So apparently I had nothing to do with the gender of my baby. And I guess technically speaking, my husband is good at making girls. So he's 2 for 2 so far. Jay, hi Jay. Doing live. I'm sorry I didn't see it. Just having dinner, but listening. Lovely. Oh, no, I'm so glad you could stop by, Jay. I didn't warn anyone that I was going live today. My mom still has my daughter, and so I thought it would be a good opportunity to jump on. I was saying at the beginning of the video that I know okay, let me start over. I feel really guilty because I haven't been making Mental Health Monday videos anymore, or really any mental health related videos. And so I wanted to just sort of pop in and get some feedback from you guys on some mental health content that might be helpful. I know this has been a really stressful time for everyone. So I just kind of wanted to see what might be helpful for you guys and have more of a relaxed chat rather than a polished video where I'm just sort of guessing at what might be helpful. Because I, a lot of people tend to, in the comment section on the mental health videos, which is great, they tend to talk about what they liked about that particular video and that particular subject, rather than giving me feedback on things they'd like to hear more about, which I completely appreciate the comments. This is not meant in a negative way at all. I just meant that to say that, I really wanted to check in with you guys in in a more casual way to see, how you're doing, to talk some mental health and see, what might be most helpful for me to share with you guys right now. Love your channel and videos. I'm so sorry, but I have 3 girls. Oh, you have 3 girls, Greta? How old are your girls? So your husband or boy toy is it's your husband, right, Greta? He's good at making girls too then. Yeah, I don't really think that sex position has anything to do with it, but I mean 5, 3, and 1 years. But I guess that's no reason to underutilize creativeness. 5, 3, and 1 years. Oh, fun ages. Okay, so that's cool because my daughters will be 2 years apart. Overall, are you happy with the 2 years between each one? I couldn't have imagined having less time between my daughters. I mean, the people who do the 2 under 2, like Tenny just turned 2 last month, and oh my gosh, I couldn't have imagined having 2 under 2. I know my friend Lexi, she got pregnant with her second one when she had a 6-month-old. And I'm just like, how? Which, I mean, I guess at that point you just do it. But I know she said that she was like holding a 6-month-old with her head over the toilet. And I know, which, I mean, when you have a toddler and you're having morning sickness, that presents its own challenges as well. Because I know so many times I had my head on the toilet with morning sickness, and Tenny was like closing the lid on my head. So, I mean, that's something a 6-month-old couldn't do. So maybe there really is something to having 2 under 2 and making the gap a little smaller. Your husband wants a boy. All right, well, Greta, you tell him that's on him. Tell his boys they need to swim faster than the girls. That's really what the issue is here, isn't it? He determines gender. Anthony with Malone Money Mindset. I think 2 years is great. That's my sister and I. Yeah. My brother and I are 3 years, and we have a good relationship. We're close. But I think if we had been just a little closer in years, that would have helped our relationship. I felt like it was just, I think it was perfect for my mom. I can imagine the benefits of having kids 3 years apart as opposed to 2. But I think for the kids themselves, I think 2 years is a really good amount of time. And I know with my friend that has the 6-month-old, or her boys are, let's see, just a year and a couple of months apart, which is, again, but they're super, super close. They're into the same things. It's hard to have babies back to back. And the most recent studies have shown you need to give yourself at least 2 years in between kids as far physically, just so you can recuperate. But I think the kids being close together is fun for them. Talking with you and Philip, talking with you and your videos help my mental health. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Philip. You're helpful for me too. You've been a very good friend. My type of organized. By the way, check out these channels, guys. Jay and Greta, do you two know each other? You do, don't you? You guys know each other. And do you guys know Anthony from Malone Money Mindset? If you don't, you guys would really love Anthony. You're a keeper, Anthony. And Philip, you don't actually have a channel. You're just on here because you're an awesome friend. I'm so glad I get to chat with you. But yeah, you guys should definitely check each other out. Anthony does like stock market and investment videos, and I call it like investment videos for idiots because I know nothing about the stock market. But okay, so Jay, you don't know anyone here. Okay, so I thought you and Greta knew each other. Definitely connect. Right now I'm singing Anthony's praises, but yeah, definitely check out his channel. He does a lot of stock market stuff. And Greta, I haven't been able to actually check your channel out in a while. What have you been up to? I'm actually glad I caught you live because I haven't connected with you in a while. Let's see what you have been up to. What has Greta been up to? Besides not getting that boy your husband is wanting. Again, tell him it's his fault. Okay, Greta. I'm having trouble finding you, Greta. I don't want to. There we go. Yeah, I bet that's why I haven't connected with you in a while, Greta, is because I'm actually having trouble finding you on YouTube right now. What have you been up to in your videos? I need to catch up. So tell us about your channel and what's going on there. What have you been up to? But Jay does a lot of lifestyle stuff as well. Lots of cleaning videos, lots of hauls, lots of what meal planning and what she is eating that particular day, which I get so burnt out on like making the same things over and over again. So Jay, I find that so helpful from you. But yeah, lots of stuff. And two, Jay goes live a lot now. I've caught you on your last 2 lives, Jay, and I'm so glad I did because you're just wonderful live. You're such a sweet soul. I love catching you live. Help coping with going back outdoors. So Jay says something that would be helpful for her is help coping with going back outdoors when you've not left the house in 14 weeks. The overwhelming feeling I'm feeling about it, I've still got until August until I can go out, so it will be 22 weeks. Oh, wow, Jay. Jay, do you live in the UK? Is that where you live? Greta lives in Germany. How are things in Germany, Greta? Please tell us about that. I would love to hear how things are going for you guys over there. I've already said this a couple times, so I apologize for the redundancy in my statements, but I've sort of shut coronavirus out in the past like few days to a week because the numbers in Florida started skyrocketing and I was getting so discouraged and I was getting really anxious about the potential consequences of these numbers continuing to rise because you guys know my daughter is due any day now. And in the beginning phases when the numbers were really bad, they wouldn't let your husband into the delivery room with you. And I just keep thinking, what if I just happen to test positive? Even though I've really been isolating myself, which of course presents its own challenges, but it's well worth it right now. And what if I get quarantined from my baby? I don't think I'm overreacting at this point, but I am. The situation is anxiety provoking for me, and the truth is, it would be devastating for me to not have my husband in the delivery room with me. It would be devastating to get quarantined from my newborn baby, and so I have given looking at the numbers a rest for the time being. I've sort of compartmentalized that because I had to focus on getting this baby here safely. She's due any day. My due date was yesterday, which does not explain why she's still here in my stomach. But yeah, I would love to know how you guys are doing, how the numbers are there, because like I said, I've sort of tuned them out for the time being. And Jay, I don't want you to think that I forgot about you. So I want to address what you said. Help coping with going back outdoors when you've not left the house in 14 weeks. The overwhelming feeling I'm feeling about it. Yeah. I can tell just from the way that you typed it, Jay, that you're feeling very overwhelmed. That's definitely coming through. I've still got until August, so it'll be a total of 22 weeks before you have gone out. That is a long time. You know, I think that going back out into the world after being in isolation, even though you've been in isolation with your family and you've been doing lots of really fun things with your family, I think, allowing yourself to take it as slowly as you need to is going to be absolutely essential for you. Jay, I know that you've mentioned several times that that you've actually somewhat enjoyed quarantine because you are a bit of an introvert and there have been lots of positives to it for you. It's given you more time with your family. The beauty is that you can still enjoy all of those things, so you have full control here. Just because you will be allowed and have more flexibility with going out, that doesn't mean that you have to take full advantage of it. You can ease yourself into that. The beauty of having more flexibility and being able to go out is that you have the option to, if you want to. Um, you know, in essence, human beings having more freedom to go and do, it's really healthy for us. What you tend to see from humans, and I did make a video on this, but what you tend to see from humans whenever they feel really restrained and really held down, even, in an emotional sense, that brings about a lot of irritation and honestly rage. You tend to see a lot of anger management issues surface when people are quarantined. I do think there's a big correlation between the quarantine happening and now a lot of the protests that we're seeing in the US. Now, that's not how it started. There needs to be a lot of reform in the way that our police are doing things. There needs to be a lot of reform in lots of different areas as far as our legal system is concerned. Lots of things need to be addressed. But I will go as far as to say that the quarantine was not helpful for that. I think people just became really enraged before a lot of these issues started to arise, and it made their level of anger that much higher because there's so much irritability that comes out of feeling restrained. And when you are confined to your home and unable to go places and be with friends, there is this feeling of being restrained that comes along with that. And scientifically, actually, what happens with rage, and the reason rage is even a thing, and the reason rage even exists, is from a predator being held, or from prey being held down by a predator in the wild. So if you can kind of imagine what rage looks like in humans, you have the same reaction basically when you become enraged that prey would have when they're being held down by a predator. Basically, when your rage evolved so that if you are ever in physical danger and being held down by someone or something, your adrenaline starts pumping, all the blood stops rushing to your head, and it rushes directly to your muscles. That's also why you can't think very clearly whenever you're enraged. But you have this super sense of strength, and you feel this need to just throw things, and you become enraged. Rage is really a defensive mechanism that's meant to keep you alive. The only problem is that your body has not evolved to the same level that your brain has. And so your body doesn't register the feeling of being emotionally restrained differently than it registers actually being in danger and being physically restrained. So that's why, if you were being held down by someone in an alley, you would have basically the same response as some people do when they can't open the pickle jar. You just like toss it and become enraged and start throwing things. You'll see a lot of things with people who have anger management issues. They have lots of areas in their life where they just feel completely restrained and held down. And that's why those anger management issues are there in many cases. And that's how rage evolved, and that's why it's there. It's actually meant as a protective mechanism to keep you safe. And it's awesome that if you were being held down by someone, if you were in danger, all the blood would rush to your muscles instead of to your head, because you would need to be able to fight that person off. But unfortunately, that's where a lot of the irritability comes from whenever you feel isolated in your home and are not allowed to go places. Jay, that was a long spiel. I'm sorry. But really take your time. Do what feels best for you. Take baby steps. If you start feeling overstimulated by the world around you, just really pay attention to your body, really pay attention to your emotions. And if your body starts screaming at you too much, then, bring it back in, go back home. Just maybe take small amounts of time to go out and be around people. Maybe the first time you go to the grocery store, you don't pick up your full list. You pick up a couple things. And the rest you continue to order. It's really up to you. I love your English pronunciation. Greta, my English pronunciation of what? I bet your last name. Is that what you're talking about, Greta? You love my English pronunciation of your last name? I can't picture Jessica throwing something out of rage. Oh, well, Philip, it has happened, my friend. Things have been thrown, and it felt good. That's actually, a lot of people try to hold their anger in, but when you're feeling anger, that's why you need to find a really good outlet for it. If you're feeling really restrained and you're feeling enraged, the last thing you actually need to do is hold all that anger in, because you're releasing cortisol, right? And so when you leave cortisol in your body, that actually leads to just, it'll usually upset your stomach. It can cause unnecessary weight gain in your midsection. It can also cause depressive-like symptoms. And so actually physically exerting yourself, whether it's like going for a run, hitting a punching bag, even if it's just like stomping around or pounding your fists together, doing whatever you need to do while keeping yourself and other people safe. It's not okay to be abusive to other people. Find a productive way of releasing those really harsh feelings. But it is essential that when you feel your heart starting to pound and when you become enraged, it is essential that you actually get all that cortisol out of your body. Otherwise, it's going to leave you feeling really yucky afterward. So for a lot of my anger management clients, what I usually recommend is that first we identify the sources of the anger, the areas in their life in which they feel restrained, and then we take steps to increase their freedom. And you can really trick your brain into feeling that you have more freedom. Just going for a walk every day really tricks your brain into this idea that you're not held down, that you're not restrained. And it's also a really good reminder to your body of the physical freedoms that you have. Again, your body just simply does not know the difference between being physically and emotionally restrained at this point. So anything you can do to show your body that you're not being restrained, such as going for a walk, dancing, doing exercises, that involve your arms and showing as much freedom as possible. That's actually a really good way to deal with anger management issues. I'm so sorry this keeps happening, guys. I don't know why it keeps happening. I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I'm so sorry. For those of you who don't know what's going on, I didn't alert anyone that I was going to be doing a live today. I didn't really plan on doing a live today, but my mom has my daughter, and so it was a really good time, theoretically, to do a live. However, some really good news, something great that happened was that our fence company, so we're installing a fence so that my toddler can't like run into the lake and things like that, and I don't have to worry about chasing her down, and I can just have her contained in a fence. So we're having the fence installed, and it was supposed to happen next month, but they had something else fall through and knew that we really, really wanted and needed a fence, so they offered this morning to come today, and now they are here. And we thought we had everything worked out already, and now they're asking me lots of questions about things that I don't know the answer to. And this is the second time they've come in, and that's what's happening. They need these pieces of paper that I don't have, and they keep knocking on the door, and I'm very grateful we're getting a fence. I'm very grateful they want to do it the right way. It's just a really inconvenient time because I wanted to talk to you guys. And Simone is on here. Hi, Simone. And I feel so guilty that I have continued to leave you guys. And now they need this piece of paper that I don't even know where it is. So, one, it was rude. I kept walking away. Two, my mind is in so many places now. Like, of course, the second I get all you guys on here, they have questions about a fence. And no one ever knocks on my door, ever. Okay, let me just be clear. I'm a loner here. No one ever knocks on my door. And the second I do a live, I have 2 knocks in what, an hour? And of course, if I had had nothing going on, this fence would not be getting installed today. So I'm going to have to go in just a second. Unfortunately, I hate that because I want to talk to you guys so badly. Fence company is at her house. Thank you, Philip, for clarifying that. Hi, Simone. You guys, please check out each other's channels. Simone is, I really wanted to talk to you too to see how you were doing, Simone. But clearly it's not working out very well today. Oh, man. So, Jay, I hope that my comment was helpful. You know, I think you have full control over this situation, and I understand I understand the anxiety upon venturing back out again. Simone, you actually spoke on that a little as well, that once the restrictions started loosening up for you guys in the British Isles, that it was actually a bit anxiety provoking for you. It was a bit overstimulating. And so I think that you guys have sort of the same approach to this, where you really saw some of the benefits to having those restrictions in place and being somewhat contained at your home. It really keeps you from being overstimulated, and it can be very peaceful to have your retreat at your home. So I can appreciate that as well. I think a big slowdown is what I need, or what I needed. And so that was definitely one of the benefits to the pandemic. When a lot of people did need relief and they did need to get out, they didn't have flexibility to do that. So, Thank you, Anthony. It's a lot of fun. I hope it all works out. Toilet brush salesman who let the dogs out. The fence company let the dogs out. Toothbrush salesman. The fence company did. They've been letting the dogs out all day now. I'm telling you guys, no one ever knocks on that door. Ever. And of course, the second I go live with you guys, it's just like constant knocks on my door. Like, what even? What is even going on? I don't even know what's going on. Zizi. Hello, Zizi. I just saw that you're a new subscriber. Thanks for being here. Zizi, you haven't necessarily been in on a lot of the conversation, but today turned out to be really hectic. So I would love to do this live again for you guys. What day, time really works out well? Because I think that going live would be a really good way to help people through some mental health stuff. But you guys just let me know what would work out well for you. I do like putting out the themed videos where I talk about a specific subject on mental health as well. However, I feel like maybe I can be more helpful in this sense in like a live chat and answer more specific questions, more personalized questions. So, Zizi, are you talking about borderline personality disorder or bipolar disorder when you say BPD? And welcome, Zizi. Simone, Elena, yes, it was strange, it all being back to normal, knowing it's not like that elsewhere in the world. Oh, it was so strange watching everything get back to normal for you, Simone. It really was. I actually got anxiety thinking about you guys not having to wear a mask and not having to socially distance anymore, even though there was nothing wrong with that. You're very contained. Simone lives in the beautiful British Isles, and so they have loosened their restrictions recently to where they don't have to socially distance anymore. They don't have to wear masks. You guys had not had a coronavirus death in something like over 40 days, right? And so you guys had like total freedom from that point. It was strange to watch you guys being able to go back to normal, but it was also so hopeful. It just made me think, if more people would take precautions here, if more people would be thoughtful, which, in the US, it's hard. It's a really big venue to try and contain something, and I get that. I was really hopeful watching you guys be able to somewhat get back to normal. Jay, you're so welcome. I'm so glad that I answered your question. I'm glad it was helpful as well. I really think it's up to you at this point. You can stay in or out as much as you want to. The great thing is that it's an option now, right? Like you don't have to be isolated anymore. If you have somewhere you want to go, if you're feeling adventurous that day, you want to get on that double-decker party bus, you can do it. The one we were talking about yesterday, right, Simone? Oh, it turned into a double-decker party plane. That's right. Simone, yes, so many people were very concerned and wondered why we didn't need it, but it's been almost 50 days since a case and probably 2 months for deaths. Oh, okay, so it's been almost 50 days since you guys have actually had an actual case in the British Isles and over 2 months since you've had any deaths. That's incredible. That gives me so much hope. I've been talking about how anxiety provoking it's been for me to look at coronavirus numbers, because of course they're skyrocketing in Florida right now. And I am somewhat afraid that, there is the potential for Chad to not be able to be in the delivery room. Or, there's, of course, when the numbers are higher, there's more of a chance of me getting it and not being able to be around my baby. And so, just being quarantined away from my newborn, I would be so sad. So I've been steering clear of the numbers and other people for the time being. My social calendar is out, folks. Like, Jessica is not venturing out of the house. I am going to see my baby when I have her. I'm not taking any chances at all. Like, we are spitting this baby out, and I am holding her for an indefinite amount of time. So, and also there's like precautions with my grandparents. You know, my grandparents are in their 80s, and my grandmother is in the late stages of Alzheimer's, which is really hard to watch. My grandfather is he's 84, I think, and he's going to outlive all of us here. He's so healthy. He exercises every day. But you know, I'm trying to be thoughtful of them as well. I'm trying to still limit how much contact I have with other people, because I want to be able to be around my grandparents, you know, when they're at that stage of their life. You never know how much longer you're going to have with them, and I definitely don't want to infect them. So that's something I've been keeping in the back of my mind through all of this. Simone Elena, so no more cases in the community. I hope it does bring hope to people that if we stick together, it will get better. It's so hopeful, Simone. It's so hopeful. Oh my gosh, I thought that studies had come out that it was safer for mom and baby to be together because of the benefits of breastfeeding and protecting baby against the virus. Oh, I could see. I think that breastfeeding is always best. So yeah, actually, so breastfeeding is great because for those of you who don't know this, Simone, you clearly know this. You are so strong dealing with everything and being pregnant. I'm sorry to hear about not being able to be with your grandparents too. Thank you, Simone. Low battery. I'm going to have to plug this up in just a second. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know this, breastfeeding is great for the baby because if the baby is starting to get sick, now this is like magical, your breast will actually detect through the baby's saliva what the baby needs and what the baby is getting sick with, and your body will produce antibodies to fight off whatever illness it is that the baby is getting, and will supply it to the baby through the breast milk. So it's like you run a homemade pharmacy by breastfeeding your baby. If you have the option of breastfeeding, it doesn't work out for everyone, and I'm certainly not saying that's the only way to go. Like, people have different reasons for not breastfeeding, but that, for me, is one reason I really wanted to breastfeed, because my daughter has been healthy as a horse. She hasn't even been sick once, and she's over 2 years old. She still breastfeeds, by the way. And that's something that it's comforting for her. It increases our bond if she's ever like scared or feeling or needs that extra security. You know, breastfeeding is sort of the thing, and nursing is sort of the thing that she relies on. She really only does it now she really only nurses now whenever she's going to go to sleep. But it really helps us to reconnect, and that's, I value that time so much. So she is 2, and she doesn't breastfeed nearly as much as she used to, but I've really enjoyed the whole breastfeeding journey a lot. Toilet brush salesman. Wow, I didn't know this valuable information. Cool, right? The body's an amazing thing. We've been talking about like mental health stuff and where rage comes from and how your brain produces serotonin and natural ways that you can do that. Really, the body is such a complicated and amazing thing. Humans are so cool. Have you guys ever just taken a moment to think about how cool we are? Simone Elena. Yes, I am not 100% certain, but I think the World Health Organization recommended to allow mother and baby to stay together. I don't know if it changed. That is actually really great news. That calms me down a lot. Probably I have been missing this information, Simone, because, like I said, I've been steering clear from anything coronavirus related recently. It's not that I intend to avoid the subject forever. It was just so anxiety provoking to, and it was just so anxiety provoking and um, so disappointing to see the numbers continue to rise and just all the potential consequences that could come with that when I have a baby to deliver any day now. I just felt like I got to the point where looking at the numbers and looking at new information, um, we do that because it's helpful, right? It's helpful to be informed. And I felt like I got to a place where being informed about this subject right now was no longer helpful for me. That it was more helpful for me to just sort of compartmentalize all the coronavirus stuff for right now, so that I could focus on what needed to be done. And that's probably why I missed that information. But that is amazing. That is amazing. That would be great. I mean, I'm fully, I'm fully invested in the theory that breast milk would be really, really critical in fighting off COVID-19, or would at least build up a baby's immunity to it, right? Especially when your body is producing whatever antibodies it needs. I know I live in Jacksonville, or I live actually in St. Augustine, Florida. But, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars just in the next town over. I basically live in Jacksonville. I'm kind of in between Jacksonville and St. Augustine. And a lot of breastfeeding mothers will actually sell their breast milk, their extra breast milk, to professional athletes in the area because it is because it helps your immune system so much. And whether you're weight training, whether you're trying to recover from an injury, breast milk is actually like magic for helping people recover from injuries. Even if your body doesn't get their saliva, which would be weird. They're not feeding directly from the breast. Like, I'm not having the Jacksonville Jaguars like line up and breastfeed. That's going too far. That's where I draw the line, people. But they'll actually breastfeeding mothers will sell their frozen breast milk to professional athletes because it really helps in the recovery process. But yeah, breast milk is a miracle, and I love that. I think that humans in general are just like producers of miracles. I love that our bodies are so cool and adaptable. I think Elizabeth Lucy is awesome. All you guys in the feed, definitely check Elizabeth Lucy out. She's incredible. I know she's an expert in infectious disease. I think she's a virologist. Isn't that what Elizabeth Lucy is, Simone? But she's been sharing just invaluable information when it comes to coronavirus. She's really been staying up to date on it and been making amazing videos about it. So definitely check out Elizabeth Lucy as well if you find any of this stuff interesting. Elizabeth Lucy, being in public health, will know the most recent update. You are right. I can imagine that being very upsetting. My friend felt the same way in the hospital last month in Australia. She was worried too. Yeah. That is amazing. It is worth more than gold per ounce. Breast milk is worth more than gold per ounce. I remember being told that when we trained to be breastfeeding peer support workers. So breast milk is worth more than gold per ounce. That is insane. Oh, she's an epidemiologist. Wow. Yeah. So Elizabeth Lucy is an epidemiologist. Hi, welcome back, Jay. And Elizabeth Lucy just has such valuable information. I wish that she were here so we could sing her praises to her face. Where are you, Elizabeth? But that is crazy, Simone. That's amazing that breast milk is worth more than gold per ounce. And that's, again, something that like restores my faith in humanity because we have our priorities in line. Breast milk should be worth more than gold per ounce, don't you think? I mean, we don't need gold to survive. Breast milk is a form of sustenance that babies rely on that obviously has an allure of health benefits as well. I mean, that really restores my faith in humanity that breast milk is worth more than gold per ounce. She works as a lecturer with the government, I believe. That is so awesome. Let me get my power cord. Again, I'm the worst person to go live with ever, but I'll be right back with the power cord. Let's see, is it here in my bag? No, it's not. It's by my bed. Okay, I made it before my computer died. Awesome. Oh, my mother-in-law has been watching me live. Hey, Mom. She probably really liked that comment about the Jacksonville Jaguars lining up for breast milk. Yeah, Simone, I wish that Elizabeth could be here too. She's so smart. Like, she's just this fountain of knowledge. I was talking earlier about how I was wanting to do this whole live thing because I put a lot of pressure on myself when I do Mental Health Monday videos on a specific subject, that I have filmed previously. I put a lot of pressure on myself to like really make them polished and perfect because I think it's just so important. And when I look at Elizabeth's videos about coronavirus, I mean, they're just so polished and perfect. And then I put even more pressure on myself. So maybe I'll just talk about mental health via live stream from now on. I do think it should. It blows my mind that they are still finding new things out about it and its benefits. They just can't mimic it. You're absolutely right, Simone. They cannot mimic the benefits that breast milk have. And you know what it really makes me think about? So I've been vlogging the week leading up to the birth of my child. And I was talking the other day with my physician because I normally see the midwives, but we're running low on midwives at our practice. And so they've been rotating me out with the doctors as well, because there's a chance if I go into labor on the weekend that I might have one of the doctors, which they'll let me do a low intervention birth. And they're really, they're really hands off if that's what you want. So, oh my God. Someone else is knocking on my door, guys. What is going on? What is going on? Okay. My frustration level is like up here right now. So I'll be right back. Okay. It's not me, honest. I only go around online, not door to door. Thank you, toothbrush salesman. Guys, I'm sorry. I feel so rude. I cannot believe this is happening today. Like, I'm in complete disbelief. I'm so sorry. Um, your luck today. Yes. Yes, my luck today, Jay. And it's actually really good luck. I'm so glad that we're getting this fence, but like all at one time. You know, if I had not gone live, we would not be getting a fence today. It's as simple as that. um, I missed part of this. Yeah, so really quickly, I'll say I was talking about they can't mimic the benefits of breast milk, like they can't mimic oxytocin even when you're induced. So, Pitocin is the synthetic form of oxytocin that they have obviously been using to help induce labor. And the trouble with Pitocin is that it causes your contractions to come on a lot more quickly and a lot stronger than your body can keep up with. So, natural labor is hard already, but the thing that makes it really doable and like such a miracle is that as much oxytocin as your body is producing to create those contractions to get your baby out, um, it is also, for the most part, um, keeping up with stimulating those contractions by allowing a really adequate form of pain management to come along with that. So it's producing oxytocin, which causes the contractions, and it's also producing endorphins at the same time. So it's stimulating contractions, but at the same time is providing a natural form of pain management for you. And when you get Pitocin, your body is not as familiar with it and it doesn't keep up as well. And it does produce endorphins. Lots of women do childbirth, induced labor without an epidural because your body will try to keep up as best as it can. But I was saying that in my vlog because there are so many just miraculous things that your body does. And labor is one of them. The fact that it produces contractions through oxytocin and then actually gives you a source of pain management through endorphins, that's just insane that your body is able to do that. And obviously, if I have an induced form of labor with Pitocin, which I really don't want to do, my body won't be able to keep up with that pain management nearly as well. So, yeah, our bodies are just crazy, aren't they, Simone? Like the fact that we can produce antibodies through our breast milk that provides what our babies need by detecting the fact that they're getting sick through their saliva. I mean, humans are absolutely insanely amazing. That's one of the main things that I talk about with my clients who really struggle with depression and struggle with feelings of insignificance and inadequacy. I'm just like, look at how complicated you are, just physically. And even the fact that you as a human are able to feel these really complex and deep emotions, like that just shows how important and complex and significant you are. The fact that you can feel the way that you feel. The human condition can be a hard one, but it's amazing. Humans, even those who feel they are completely insignificant, humans are just amazing and adaptable. And yeah, that's my story and I'm sticking to it, people. Yes, I read about Pitocin and how it makes you contract continuous and stronger. Yes, Simone, it does. Whereas natural contractions, the baby gets a break. You and the baby get a break. Yeah. Natural labor is 100% doable, in my opinion. Hello, Roxy from Hello Hello Adventures. Hi, Roxy. Roxy, you have not been here for all the craziness, but my door has been knocked on several times already, and I'm not going to be able to stay on here very much longer, but which breaks my heart because I love seeing you on here, but I know I have to go and find something for the fence company that is here. Who wasn't supposed to be here today. And again, it's a great thing that they're here, but all the good things happen at one time. What is going on? I've been talking about how no one ever knocks on my door, and I've had like 4 knocks on my doors during the 2 hours that I've been trying to do this live. So just filling you in really quickly on what's happening, Roxy. Simone, also the FDA says that it should only be used in emergencies, but they are used regularly, so there's more chance of C-sections and other complications. Absolutely, Simone. In a lot of cases, let's see, I can't remember what movie it was. It was a documentary about childbirth, but in a lot of cases, you know, doctors get paid for deliveries that they do, and I'm not trying to critique doctors on their work, but studies have shown, and the numbers have shown that, you know, more C-sections happen at shift changes. So, you know, in a lot of cases, they're finding that doctors are abusing their privileges and trying to get women to have the babies faster so that they can actually get paid for it. That's what this documentary revealed. I'm not saying that that is the ultimate truth. I'm not saying that is the case of every doctor. I love the doctors that are at my practice, and I'll be quite honest, if they tried to speed up my labor and delivery, I just wouldn't let them. Unless there was something going on with Adelie. And that's why I try to keep it low intervention, because the more you intervene, the more complicated the whole process becomes. I really believe in keeping it simple and keeping as many variables out of the equation as possible, so that if something does start to get challenging, you can start from scratch at diagnosing the issue, right? Whereas if you have Pitocin and you have like lots of other drugs in your system, and an epidural, like, it just becomes really complicated in trying to diagnose where the actual problem is. Whereas if you're starting from a clean canvas, you can sort of work from the ground up in trying to figure out how to overcome the challenge, whatever it happens to be in childbirth. Simone Elena, hey Roxy, how are you? Don't you love Roxy? I love Roxy. I love learning about oxytocin, says Simone. The mother's body is incredible and creating this naturally. Oh my gosh. And I especially think that the work that we do in the first trimester is just unbelievable. I know in the first trimester, when you're so exhausted, like I get so exhausted in the first trimester, and everyone does. And that's because you're creating really complex organs. You know, you're creating the placenta, the brain stem. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of work, and so much can go wrong. And so that's why you're so tired in the beginning of pregnancy. But isn't that also amazing? That you're expending so much energy and there's a reason you're so tired. Roxy is doing good. I'm so glad you're doing good, Roxy. I'm working from home today. I'm hoping to catch up on all of your videos. Oh, Roxy, you're so sweet. Roxy is so good at supporting on YouTube. Like, honestly, all of you guys are. All of you ladies are just so amazing. Toilet brush salesman, are you still here? I need to catch up on your videos. And Zizi, are you still here? I haven't heard from you or Greta in a while. How is working from home going, Roxy? I know that you're going to be making the transition back to the office soon because I saw your snazzy new bag. I love it, by the way. I love your new bag. The love hormone, oxytocin. Yes, it is the same hormone that you excrete whenever you have an orgasm, which is why sex helps to get the baby out. But it is a shy hormone and needs calmness, dim. Hospitals usually provide the opposite, so labor doesn't always go as it should. It makes me sad. Absolutely. In fact, there are two muscles that work together while you're having a baby. There are two muscles around your uterus. One helps to open up your cervix. I may not be explaining this correctly, so I apologize. The research that I did was with baby number one, and so my words might not be 100% on point, but the information is. But it's basically two muscles that are working together to get the baby out, and one causes everything to open so the baby can actually come out, and the other causes the contractions to happen. And so basically, if at any point during labor, again, how awesome our bodies are, but if at any point during labor you start to feel overstimulated or threatened, the muscle that allows your lady parts to open to actually allow the baby to come out, that muscle will freeze up, and it'll basically cause you to stop dilating. And the reason that happens is so that, for like back in the hunter-gatherer days, whenever women were having babies in the wild and like out in the woods, and actually, honestly, a place where I would still rather have a baby than a hospital. But my insurance won't pay for a midwife to deliver my baby in the woods. But if you become physically threatened at some point while you're having your baby, the bottom part of you that will allow the baby to come out and allows your cervix and all that stuff to open, it will actually stop opening your cervix so that you can run to a safe place. Isn't that incredible? It will just stop the process. You'll continue to have contractions, but that one muscle, when you feel threatened, will just stop the process so that you can get to a safe place and then have your baby. But again, our brains and bodies are not fully caught up with each other. And so our body tends to look at emotional threats the same way that it looks at physical threats, and it responds in that same physical manner. So yeah, a lot of people get overstimulated in hospitals, and it actually slows their labors down and keeps a lot of labors from, taking the natural course of things. So awesome, Roxy. Our mommy bodies, yes, they're so amazing, aren't they, Roxy? Yes, I've read about that and saw it in Ricky Lake's documentary, The Business of Being Born. Yeah, Simone, what you're talking about, The Business of Being Born, that is what that documentary was called. And that's where they talked about how most C-sections happen at the end of a shift. It's funny how everyone wants to bug you when you're busy, right? I definitely know what you mean. I'm glad I was able to jump on and catch you live. Yes, Roxy. And I'm never busy. That's the thing. I'm never busy. But today, I actually feel very important. I'm so honored that you guys are here. I honestly am. I'm so deeply humbled and honored that you guys are here. But if I had not been doing this live, no one would be knocking on my door. No one would have any interest in putting a fence in my yard. I could be begging and pleading, and I would not get my fence. But because I'm live and having a great time with you guys, they're willing to put my fence in. Simone, you are so wise, Jessica. Oh, Simone, thank you, my dear. You are so wise and so inspiring and such a gentle soul. And if you guys haven't seen Simone's videos, Simone is like sunshine in a person. She's just like, you hear her talk and you see the way she interacts with her kids and her husband, and it's just beautiful. Like, you can't stop smiling when you're watching Simone. You're just like a breath of fresh air, Simone. You really are. I appreciate your kind words. Yes, Roxy, The Business of Being Born. Jay said hello to Roxy. Roxy saw it. Yes, it still happens with animals. They either stop labor or flee, give birth so quickly. It's fascinating. Yes, that muscle that I'm talking about, Simone, that actually stops you from giving birth. Yeah, it's incredible. I watched it after Caleb and when preparing for my home birth with Neva. Oh my gosh, if you guys haven't seen Simone's kids, they are beautiful. Like, her whole family is just gorgeous. I mean, it really is a joy watching your videos, Simone, because you have the sweetest voice, you have the most beautiful family. It's just, I love your videos. I love that documentary. The healthcare is different over here, but we don't need health insurance, but I found it useful. Yeah, I wish we didn't need health insurance here. I wish it were a different situation, because with so many health insurances that we have here, I could actually have my baby at home. But with our particular insurance, and it's the only one we can get, my insurance won't cover a home birth. It's really disappointing. I would, and it's really twisted, because if I wanted to have like an elective C-section, schedule it this day, have every drug in the book, my insurance would pay for it. But because I want to have a low intervention childbirth with no drugs of any kind, with a midwife at home, my insurance will not pay for it. It's like, if it's not complicated, they don't want anything to do with it. It's really twisted though, isn't it? Aha, for real. Always seems to go that way, right? Yes, Anthony, I suppose you're talking about all the knocking at my door. Toilet brush salesman. I'm just reading about babies being born just before lockdowns. The local council had to pause birth registrations, meaning that these newborns technically don't exist yet. Backlogs of thousands. So all that talk earlier about how every human is significant. Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. I mean, I guess it would have hit me quite soon. For all babies who have recently been born, you are significant. You just technically don't exist yet. But hopefully you will soon. How ironic. I know this is a specific topic, but I absolutely love talking about childbirth and all things babies. Yes, Simone, I do too. Jay says, sunshine in a person when talking about Simone is absolutely true. Yes, isn't it? But Jay, that's how you are too. So Jay, you have such a calming voice and such a calming presence. Like, I watch you, and there's just a steadiness and a calmness, and your voice just sounds so centered and grounded. That's why I love coming on your lives. You're funny, you're really relatable, and you just seem so grounded, and your presence again is just so calming. So I'm paying these compliments to Simone, but I need to be paying them to you too, Jay, and you too, Roxy. I mean, you ladies are just, oh, you're such a breath of fresh air. And Roxy has the most fun in her videos. I just love, Roxy's very positive, whether she's doing a food review, whether she's talking about her job. She's so uplifting, so optimistic. She really gives a great perspective. Anthony, same with you. You guys are all just such a pleasure to watch. I apologize for my long messages. I get carried away on lives. Simone, girl, stop apologizing. Nobody has a problem with it. I certainly don't. I love your messages. Simone, Elena, it's twisted. You're sweet. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. You deserved to hear that. I hope it really sank in. It is twisted. It's such a shame they can't all be supportive. The NHS here said it is less expensive for government to send 2 midwives to have a home birth than to give birth in a hospital. Yep, it is. We have insurance that we pay out the wazoo for every single month. And even with what we pay every month for our insurance, we still pay close to $2,000 for childbirth, for natural childbirth. No epidural, no drugs of any kind. And that's just for the birth. That's not even for the stay in the hospital. So we pay, that's what it came out to be with my first daughter anyway. So yeah, we pay a significant chunk of money to our insurance every month. And then we still paid close to $2,000 just for the birth, a natural childbirth in the hospital. Simone, some hospitals can be funny about that. Like when we moved here, they told me the week before they wouldn't come out and I wasn't mentally prepared to go in. Oh, okay. So you wanted to give birth at home and they couldn't come out and you didn't want to go into the hospital? Yeah. Yeah, I know you had a lot of trouble with your first baby, and I haven't fully been able to watch all your birth videos yet. I want to get to them very soon, but that was hard to listen to how much of a struggle it was for you to just have a baby, like how complicated everything got for you. I felt for you so much. Jay does have a calming presence and she's so kind and lovely. Doesn't she? Jay, you're the loveliest of the lovely people. That's my very eloquent compliment to you. You're the loveliest of the lovely people, Jay. You truly are. Jay is a person to know. Up on that double-decker party bus. I get told I sound like a man on the phone. No! Which I get told I sound like a child on the phone. You know how many times I've gotten a call from someone and they've asked to speak to my mother? Oh, yeah. This still happens. I feel like the phone doesn't really do any of us justice. So sweet, 100% funny, and up for a laugh. I love Roxy. Yes, she's positive and she could sell any business with how she showcases her food, hotels, and her. Yes. Roxy is like on top of everything in her videos. And Roxy, your voiceovers are so on point. I am terrible at voiceovers. Like I always hate the way that they come out. Your voiceovers, I meant to mention this in the last video, are just like so on point every time. Yes, that's a lot of money. Yeah, Simone, it is a lot of money, isn't it? That's a lot of shoes. That's a lot of food. That's a lot of designer purses. That's a lot of things I could be doing with that money. That's a lot of trips to Morocco, right? Like we talked about one time. That's a lot of trips on the party bus. The party bus is going to be fun. Wouldn't it be so cool if we all could meet up, even though we're all in different places? Jay, I don't think you realize how inspiring you are, from Simone. Yeah, you are really inspiring, Jay. And I think that's the beauty of Jay, actually. Like, she's so humble. She has no idea how inspiring she is. Jay, you're so humble. You're just so calm and grounded. I really think you have no idea what, like, the significant impact that you have on people. But that's part of what makes you so awesome as well. Jay, I am not kidding. People call and ask to speak to my mom. I'm not kidding. It still happens. I think James would agree with everything. I must have missed something. Did I miss something? I think James would agree with everything. I hope your husband knows what a wonderful wife he has, though, Jay. I truly do. He has it so good. He has such a treasure in you. I have to head out. Aw, I'm sorry you have to leave, Roxy, but I'm going to have to leave soon, too. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad that you did. I'm so humbled that you were here, and I hope that you continue to stay safe in Hawaii. I know that things are opening up for you guys, they're getting more flexible with you. I'm so happy to hear that. Continue to stay safe. Have a great day, lovely. Um, Philip, excited to see that you're still alive. I'm still here, Philip, to the fence company's dismay. I'm still here though. I'm going to have to go really soon though. I have to get a document for them. Have a good meeting, Roxy. Yes, have a good meeting, Roxy. The party bus will be awesome. One of us needs to go viral so we can pay for everyone to get together. Amen to that. Amen to that. Or I could just not pay for my childbirth, which that wouldn't cover the cost of everyone getting together, but I would put a good dent in it. That's for sure. You're making me emotional. Aww. You know, Jay, I hope you really take to heart the things that we're saying about you, because it's true. You make such a difference for everyone. It really, your videos are so uplifting. Your lives are so uplifting. It makes my day when I catch you live. I think you're so valuable as a person, and I think you have so much valuable insight to share, and your perspectives are so healthy. I just know, like, you make a big difference for me. I know that you make that difference for other people as well. And so I hope you're really taking to heart, you know, how valuable that everyone around you finds you, because you are. I mean, you just have such a valuable perspective, and I'm so truly humbled and happy that I found you and that we found each other. I really am. I agree with what you said about Jay, Jessica. Jay is so humble. Yeah, isn't she showering Jay with praises? It would put a dent in it. It would. It would if I just like didn't pay my hospital bill. It would put a good dent. It would really get us started in this effort to see each other. Simone Elena, I know we joke, but seriously, like, and if you just take away from that, also, I mean, if I took what I'm paying for insurance, and instead put it toward the party bus and all of us meeting, then I could definitely pay for all of us meeting. It's insane the amount we pay for insurance. Yeah, what I said is spot on about Jay, isn't it, Simone? And you too. Like, what I said about you is totally spot on as well. Um, really, you ladies are amazing. And Philip, I know you're still here. You're amazing too. You guys don't know my friend Philip, but he is the most generous person. He is like, he's the type of person who can carry on a conversation with anyone. And he's also very humble, and he always leaves people better than he found them, which is like, you don't find that nearly as often as you should on this planet, I think. I don't know about any other planet, but on this planet, I feel like so many people are just, you know, they use people as a means to an end. And when you're in the presence of Philip, you just feel so valued to be there, because he promotes that feeling. Like, he lets you know what a valuable person you are. And so it's really just an honor to know all of you that are here. Absolutely all of you. A few of us on YouTube would say, WWJD, what would Jay do? She always has words of wisdom. That's true. That's insane. Makes me mad. What makes you mad? Oh, the hospital bills, Jay? Yeah, I assume that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, wow, you're making me feel so loved. My hubby just walked in and heard and thought it was so lovely to hear. Oh, I'm so glad. James, do you know how awesome your wife is? I feel the need to shout out, like, you know how good you have it, right? Which it sounds like you guys are just a match made in heaven. It sounds like Jay feels that she is also very fortunate to have you. We really are very fortunate to have the healthy marriages and supportive spouses that we have. I look at so many of my friends that don't have a healthy marriage, and I've put a lot of work into my marriage. I know that you guys have too. But I mean, I look at some things that other people are going through, and even my clients, and I just feel so grateful. I feel so incredibly grateful for so much. And Jay, I don't know about any other type of planet. I don't. Although some would probably assume that I do. I get a bit wacky sometimes. Hey, Philip, I need to connect with you. I don't know if he stepped away for a second, Jay, or not. He doesn't actually have a channel. I wish he did. I think he would have a lot of valuable insight to share. Philip and I used to model together back in the day. That's how we know each other. Like over 10 years ago, we modeled together. Talking about those hospital bills. Yeah, I figured you were. It's nauseating. It's nauseating. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, Philip doesn't have a channel. He was just hopping on because he's a good friend. Yeah, yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing, Simone. All right, well, everyone, I'm gonna have to go. I feel bad now. I have to get this document together for the fence company. Again, I'm really glad they're here. I just hate that the timing didn't really work out, and we kept getting interrupted. So I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be rude. I hope you guys don't think that I was being rude. I was trying to juggle. Simone talks about like trying to juggle all these balls, and that's how I feel like this kind of went, like walking that tightrope. I fell flat off that tightrope, Simone. I took a hard fall today. I had to leave several times, but I still think we had a good time. Yeah, Jay, we used to model together. Philip and I used to model together. Oh, Anthony, you're still here. Oh, I'm so glad you're still here, Anthony. And again, I'm humbled. That's amazing that you're still here. You guys check out Anthony as well. He'll really help you with investments and things like that. And he's another person that just leaves people better than he found them. You can't look at Anthony in his channel and his videos and not smile. He's such a breath of fresh air. I feel so fortunate and humbled to know all of you guys. I'm so humbled that all of you stopped by. I'm so honored that you were here. And thank you for sticking with me through the interruptions. I really appreciate it. So thank you for being here. So pleased managed to see you live. Oh, I'm so pleased you were here, Jay. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking with me again. So honored and humbled that you stopped by. And again, my baby was due yesterday, so if you guys could send me some good vibes and just pray that everything goes well, I would really appreciate it. Trying to get this baby out as quickly but as healthily as possible. All right, guys. You guys have a lovely weekend. Happy Friday. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.